In a small, sunny town between rolling hills and the sea, an art student named Eli Turner lived in a cozy attic studio filled with the smell of turpentine and the glow of afternoon light. Eli was a dreamer, always searching for beauty in ordinary things. His easel held many half-finished canvases that captured fleeting moments. Yet, among the vibrant colors and swirling brushstrokes, an unsettling mystery lingered just out of reach. Eli discovered his talent during his first year at the local art school. He painted portraits that seemed alive, vivid and dreamlike images of people who appeared to come from a world between reality and imagination. Each brush stroke gave life to his subjects, but what set Eli's portraits apart was how these painted figures resonated with the lives of strangers who later crossed his path. One rainy afternoon, Eli sat in a local cafe with his sketchbook, observing his surroundings. The soft hum of conversation mixed with raindrops tapping against the window. Suddenly, he noticed an elderly woman sitting alone in the corner, her eyes distant and sad. Without thinking, he pulled out his palette and began to paint her portrait, capturing the lines on her face that spoke of years lived and losses faced. Days later, as Eli returned to the cafe, he learned through whispers that the woman had tragically passed away. The townsfolk spoke of her life, mentioning a family lost in a car accident. Eli's heart sank as he realized his painting had somehow foreshadowed her death. This was the first time he witnessed the connection between his art and reality, but it would not be the last. As weeks stretched into months, Eli's portraits gained attention. He painted a young man with haunted eyes, only to find out the next day that the same man had been found dead in an alley from an overdose. He captured a joyful couple in a park, only to hear they had been involved in a tragic accident on their way home. Each painting carried a heavy weight, and Eli felt the burden of an unseen force guiding his hand. Amid the sorrowful revelations, Eli faced a strange predicament. As he painted these portraits, he never saw himself in any of them. No visions of his own life, no shadows of his own struggles. His world remained a blank canvas, untouched by tragedy, as if he were stuck in an endless spring while the rest of the world endured seasons of despair. One evening, Eli sat alone in his studio, surrounded by portraits that felt like echoes of the lives they depicted. A gnawing emptiness filled him. He longed to understand the connection he shared with his subjects. Driven by curiosity and desperation, he decided to experiment with his next painting. This time, he would create a self-portrait. As he stared at the blank canvas, unease washed over him. The colors felt wrong, as if they were teasing him, refusing to reflect his true thoughts. Hours went by as he struggled to capture himself, each brushstroke driving him deeper into frustration. Just as he was about to give in to despair, a strange urge compelled him to paint the shadows that lingered just outside his view. He closed his eyes and let his hand move instinctively, led by an unseen force. When he finally opened his eyes, he was surprised. The canvas now showed a figure shrouded in darkness, a silhouette that seemed to whisper secrets he could not understand. A chill ran down his spine as the room filled with a sense of dread. He stepped back, heart racing, realizing this painting was unlike any he had created before. It felt like a warning, a premonition of something terrible awaiting him. Days turned into weeks, and Eli grew increasingly anxious. The whispers of the townspeople became louder, and more tragedies unfolded around him. He painted a young girl with bright eyes, only to find out she had gone missing the next day. A woman with a calm smile appeared on his canvas, but Eli learned she had succumbed to a terminal illness shortly afterward. Haunted by the consequences of his work, Eli's nights turned restless and troubled. He felt the weight of the world pressing down on him and began to question whether his paintings were simply reflections of reality or if he somehow conjured these tragedies with every brushstroke. Desperate for answers, Eli approached the local librarian, an elderly woman named Agnes, who had spent years studying the town's history. With urgency, he shared his experiences and fears of being cursed, doomed to witness others' tragedies without the power to save them. Agnes listened closely, her eyes narrowing in thought. "There's a legend," she said slowly. "It tells of an artist who painted the souls of others but could never see his own. He was said to be a vessel for other stories, forever an outsider to his own pain. Eli's heart sank as he absorbed her words. Could it be that he was trapped in a cycle that had begun long before him? A vessel of sorrow, painting the lives of others while his own remained untouched, like a ghost wandering among the living. Determined to break the cycle, Eli returned to his studio and faced the dark self-portrait he had created. He knew he needed to confront whatever darkness lay within him. With trembling hands, he began to paint over the shadowy figure, each stroke a testament to his resolve to reclaim his story. As he painted, the air crackled with energy. Memories surged within him, moments of joy, pain, love, and loss. He poured his heart into the canvas, allowing the colors to blend, creating a tapestry of his own experiences. The darkness that had once consumed him began to fade, replaced by a vivid explosion of life. When he stepped back to admire his work, Eli felt a deep sense of release. Before him was a self-portrait that reflected not just the shadows he had feared, but also the light that had always been there, waiting to be recognized. The painting shimmered with new energy, and Eli realized he had finally captured himself in a way he never imagined. As the sun set beyond the hills, Eli felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The tragedies that had haunted him no longer felt like chains binding him to despair. Instead, they became lessons, reminders of the beauty and fragility of life. He could now see the beauty in his own story and in the stories of those he had painted. From that day on, Eli continued to paint with a new understanding of his gift. He no longer feared the tragedies that came with his art. Instead, he embraced life's complexities, the joy intertwined with sorrow. When his portraits began to resonate with others' lives once more, he found comfort in knowing he was not just an observer but a participant in the rich tapestry of existence. In the end, Eli Turner became not just a painter of dreamlike portraits but a chronicler of the human experience, forever intertwined with the echoes of those he encountered on his journey. Though he could never see himself in the tragedies of others, he learned to paint his own story with a vibrant brush, illuminating the canvas of his life. As he stepped back from his easel, Eli felt a sense of peace wash over him. The world outside continued to spin with its mysteries, but he would face them all, brush in hand, ready to paint the tales yet to unfold.